thought we'll try this again. Where's Palmetto? Is Palmetto back in? Welcome back, Izzy. I think everyone's joined apart from... Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? Am I still frozen? Sweet, good. Can you hear me? Everything good now?
I can see you at least.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Perfect. So let's just start again. Welcome back to another Morphtastic live. I want to say a huge thank you to our sponsor, LRVV, Geckos and Racks. Anyone need a rack or a nice gecko, Neil's a good person to give a shout. We brought Trey in because predominantly we're going to be talking about Trey's collection because he's got a stunning collection. I want to see this Supergiant Bell more. And there's a lot of stuff going on with scammers and things like, because you've got some Black Knights too, haven't you, Trey?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome to show some Black Knights. And we want to start talking a bit more about novice breeders, and I've got some questions here. But yeah, fire away, Trey. Let people know who you are, where you're from, what do you breed, how long you've been doing it.
Wow. Okay, so I'm from the United States, obviously. Palmetto State is South Carolina in the United States. I've had a gecko probably 2 years now. I've got one that's just, we picked up. The kids wanted it. I enjoyed it. I researched it and thought they were pretty sweet. And then this year, about January, I decided, you know what, I'm seeing all these things, and I love genetics. I always have. And, I grew up with my father breeding dogs, and it's a lot of work. I don't have a lot of time for work. I'm a plant manager for a pet food additive. And so I'm busy a lot. And geckos are really, I put a lot of effort into it, 3 hours a day with them probably, but it's still, it's easier than dogs. Yeah. But I started picking the ones, that everybody says pick the ones you like, and I go with the ones I like. It's not necessarily always the what's the word I'm looking for? The popular, what everybody's doing, like clowns. Everybody loves clowns. I think they look great. They're not what I want to breed, but hey, I believe firmly it's whatever you like, do it.
100%. If you work with what you like, it shows in your geckos. If you work with something you not particularly enjoy, it does show. It does show, definitely. So what you're saying is absolutely spot on.
I also like doing stuff that people aren't doing. So, like you mentioned, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'7", 330 pounds. I don't know what that relates to y'all. And the metric system, but I wanted Supergiant. I thought, I started reading about that and thought that was the best thing for me because I'm a big guy. I'll end up using 4 and catch some, but that's a soda can in my hand.
Oh dear!
And you can't really see it, so that's why when you see anything that I hold,
here's my soda can.
Yeah, you have to remember that in my hands things look a little bit smaller. You can just ask my wife. And that was a joke. No, I like the bells. I like trimpers. I've just got some trimpers. But I met Darren at Calico and went to his house, which is about 8 hours from me, and saw his setup and what he's working with, and I was impressed. So I went ahead and grabbed a breeding set from him. So
some great stuff about Darren. I have personally messaged Darren myself, and because of the pandemic, he said, to be honest with you, it's probably a little bit too hard for me right now, which is completely understandable. There's a really good supergiant breeder in Germany who, I think her name's Leopard Geckos. She does a lot of supergiants, and she's always shouting out Darren. So, I mean, I think he's one of the few. He's probably the top guy with SG Bells, I would say personally.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, what you've got is absolutely stunning. And I don't know whether it's the same in America, but over here in the UK, for a breeder to invite you over, that says a lot.
Yeah, he's straightforward. He works really hard on what he does. He's got a lot. He's not one of the flashy guys that is all over Instagram and all over Facebook. He runs with Pearly, the Supergiant Facebook page, as an admin for it. But other than that, he really doesn't. He lets his geckos talk for him, and he's got so many. It's like every day he's putting 5 more and 5 more and 5. So it's and I end up buying 3 of them. it's nuts. I have an issue, but I knew when I wanted to start. It's like, if you're going to start painting, if you buy the cheap paint, the cheap canvas, your art could be phenomenal, but it's going to be not as nice as the next guy. So I made sure, and I'm lucky that in my life I've worked hard enough that I can afford to do some of this. So I have put the effort into with trying to find the purest, no hets unless I want the het, and there's a lot of really good breeders out there doing a lot of really good things. It's like a very saturated market, and
yeah,
you can find high quality stuff. And then the best thing is the top people, like the people that are doing the really good things, are just people, like yourself, like Jay, even though Jay's a fucking nut. They will talk to you. They want to talk about geckos, and they want to talk about, most of them want to answer, like Jeff Galewood at JMG. Jeff will talk any question. That's because his passion is reptiles and lizards and hognose. And if I have a question, he in 10 minutes is like this brilliant answer, because he started the bloodline, he's started radars, and so I talked to him about that stuff, and he gives me tons of answers. And it's, along with it, there's also a lot of people that think they know absolutely everything, and they'll give you advice even when you don't ask for it, which, as I told you the other day, I dealt with. But there's a lot of people that deal with that, because you start talking to people and they get a little snippy. And it's not your fault. It's because they've dealt with 4 other people saying, hey, you shouldn't be doing this, or hey,
Yeah.
I mean, I get you got to be 100% honest when you're selling and when you're working with people, and especially if you're trying to sell something that you expect to be breeder quality for a breeder, which ends up probably being most of the market for the things that we do. But it's it's sometimes when you're talking to people, it's like, hey man, this is a pet only thing. I'm trying to, so like,
yeah,
relax. But luckily, I'm not in it to make money at all. I'm trying to see what I can do and make a bunch of really cool looking geckos, and hopefully people like them. I mean,
that's it. You do get you get a lot of people in the hobby. How I see it is because of when I've been doing this for 5 years, which is nothing in the whole grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But what I've always gone by is if anybody has anything to say that's negative, you're doing something right. Because of how I see it is if I see somebody not doing too good, I'm not going to message them and say, hey, you're doing really rubbish. You're more likely to message somebody who's on a high to say, hey, that's wrong. When I first start, I take my hat off to new breeders. There's so much going on right now. When I first started, just your normal Tremper eclipses. I mean, when someone showed me a raptor, I was like, I like that. Now raptors, you can pick up a raptor for £50, $60, something like that.
Yeah,
so, 100%. I get people message me. I know you've had a few. I wouldn't say disagreements, but I'll say a few people have stuck their nose in a little bit too far than it needs to be. So, you need to just let it go. You're doing really well. That's why That's why I've got you on this live. I think you're doing fantastically well. The stuff you've got, you haven't messed around. Like you said to me, like it is for enjoyment. I love doing this, but I have invested heavily. And you went and got the best you can get. And what's annoying is you do get other breeders that will watch and be, as somebody who's been doing it for a while, when I see someone who I appreciate that, I can see you're putting the effort in. Do you know what I mean? Whereas a lot of other people just look at it as competition. It shouldn't be seen as competition.
Yeah. No, and I really appreciate you and Jay, especially because, you know, I get to see y'all brought me into a group with it's all, you know, European breeders, and I get to see the troubles that y'all are going through dealing with this COVID. Like, I take for granted that since January, I've had 30 geckos sent to me. Y'all can't get that easily. I mean, it's like, it's because of COVID and Brexit and everything that's going on, y'all are having a hell of a time just trying to, you know, figure out ways to work together and group ship things places. And, you know, it's good to see that, you know, to know all the story on everybody and see other walks. And it's fun. I get to see y'all call things crazy names like albino and coppers and stuff that I normally wouldn't get to see. So no, it's great. And I've met so many good people like the Lily Rose reptiles. They're awesome. They do the herping hour.
Yeah.
They're great people. KLG, Charlene at KLG Geckos talks to me a lot. She's great. Gino is awesome. Even though he's not European, he's been helping a lot. So yeah, it's, you know, it's my duty with all these people that are working so hard to try to do the very best. And it's not cheap.
I've always been a person to bring people together. That's how I've always been. If any of my boys have an argument, I'm the one to be like, come on, let's sort it out. And with any hobby, whether you're a footballer or whatever, you're always going to have competition. You are going to have people talking about that person. But that's what I've always been about. And that Gino was a huge input with me, because of after I'd done that live, I was like, you know what, this is amazing. So that's why I like getting. I've got some quite big breeders that are going to be doing some live, but it's so good to have some fresh faces like you. Like, this is Palmetto State. This is what I got. Watch what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah. No, it's. You know, I get everybody gets mad every once in a while because this is all about pride, and this is all about, like, this is hard work. It's not easy. Like, you know, it's not an easy thing. People can think it's easy, but it's not. It's, you know, people get upset about it. But yeah, like, you know, in Gino's, I would never have done any of these getting on, except for Gino does open mics, and he, you know, allows people to talk, and it's allowing me to get over, you know, a fear of people watching me talk and watching me say things that, you know, might not be, you know, the brightest at the time. He's been, him and you, and I appreciate this too. This is great. It's just because I just hope people can go, because like you can go to Palmetto State Geckos website and you can see every breeder, every gecko that I own is on there. There's a picture, and I just want people to see it and enjoy it and go, hey man, that's great. Like, I don't care. I mean, I would love if I'm selling some for you to buy some. So please, Morph Market, if you want to buy some, take a look. But if you just want to see it and look at it and say, hey, you know, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about, if you want to see my lavender snow, when you wanted to talk about them for, like, I have guys that'll just, they're not interested in buying all, they just want to talk. And hey, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. That's brilliant, mate. There's far too many people out there. Me personally, I know a few over here in the UK that their mentality is more, if you're not buying, I ain't interested in this, which is wrong. It is absolutely wrong. You know, someone might message me for advice, and they might not necessarily buy a gecko from me, but they might go and tell the next 3 people that message them about geckos and say, hey, EliteGeckos, what a lovely guy, give him a message. And it's just too much corruptness going on, and, you know, it's becoming silly. That's why I really wanted to, because I saw something you sent me, and I'm not going to mention any names or anything. It really annoyed me. And the reason why it really annoyed me is because of, I know how hard you've been putting into it, and you have done it the right way. You have gone to the correct people. You haven't just gone on, our Craigslist is called Pre-Loved over here. you haven't gone on Craigslist and just seen somebody selling a giant. You've done it the right way. So this is why I really wanted to do this as well, because I want to start talking about what people like yourself are going through, and maybe some advice to don't know how to control things a bit better. So as you're somebody who's been, how long have you been breeding for? How long have you been in this hobby? Would you say since January properly?
Yeah, since January. January, I was looking at my, because, like I said, I've always been a huge fan of genetics. I believe genetics plays a part in absolutely every part of the world. And, you know, I'm not going to tell you I'm the most religious person on the planet, but I do have faith in things. And I believe stuff like genetics and science shows me things like that. And so I loved it. And you know, a lot of people don't like Brian Barczyk, but I started watching the videos by chance and seeing some things and, you know, the beauty. And I'm not necessarily a snake person, but then it led me to leopard geckos and learning about them, and just they're a genetic marvel, the things they can do to survive in the desert. And it's really amazing. And not a lot of people knew about that. So, you know, it's funny when I start talking to people that have no idea about them. They're like, what? Like, really? Like a camel? Like their tail? Like it's fat? And I'm like, yeah, you know, it's amazing. So that just kind of led to me going to a show. And I went to a show and I got really burned by a breeder. Sold me a very expensive breeding ready. And I thought I knew everything when I was ready. And, you know, when there's like 200 people around you and everybody's shuffling and you're like, oh man, I don't want to miss out the best. And, I purchased her, and when I got a closer look, she was so mistreated. She was overweight, had no toes left, not all of her claws were gone, had stuck shed on her. But I spent the next 2-3 months nursing her back, getting her into really good health and getting her back to eating. It took a long time before she would eat again. But that showed me there that if I'm going to do this, I have to do it the right way. I have to find somebody who knows what they're doing and learn this. And then I have to, when I buy them, I need to know everything about them beforehand and do it the right way. So, yeah, so January I started just, you know, hey, I like this one. Hey, I like this one. Hey, I like this one. And then, you know, your first year, you never really, you know, it sucks. I know Joe was talking about that. You know, it's not always, because you see everybody like, yo, on the WhatsApp, baby, and I'm like,
Yeah.
But mine are starting to come around. Like my Super John, my female, for her first year, she's done a great job. She's produced really great babies. All my bold stripes, I couldn't bring them in here to show you because they're all now producing and laying eggs. So I've got 4 females that are gravid and laying eggs. And I've got babies starting to pop. I'm going to start putting them all female after these first couple of males. But it's getting, you know, I'm planning for it, but I'm so impatient. So it's like I'm going to end up with like 1,000 males because I want to hurry up and see what they're going to look like. So I put them in at 90 because I want to see them after 30 days. But yeah. So it's been building and building and building. I've spent way more money than I should have. I'm almost probably like 15 grand into this in the first 7 months, and that's not including like the setup.
Yeah, you got the feeding, you got the electric. People don't realise this. I'm not going to mention any names, but one of my friends in the hobby, this is his 2nd year, and his electric bill came through the door, and it was like £3,000. He was like, "Oh my god!" Because he's got over here it's quite cold, so he has all his reptiles in his garage, but he's converted it all, and he's got oil-filled radiators to keep it nice and warm in there. So like things like even the little things like that. Then you've got your vet bills if you have to take your gecko to the vet. You've got food, and most of all, time. You don't get your time back.
Oh no, and you know, again, like I sold my first gecko the other day for the first time, and it was, I mean, it's not recouping me by any means, but it just, you know, it was cool. It was, like I said, I'm lucky that, you know, I'm able to, you know, get a hobby and I can do it the right way, and my family gets what they want, and I get to spend a little bit on mine. So, but you know, I've been working a long time. I used to play football. I played football at the University of Tennessee back in 2000. I was pretty good. My mom got sick, so I left. So I've been working since I was 18. I'm almost 40 now, and I'm in a place where I can do what I want. So I'm going to do it the best way I can. So.
Good. I see it as my little space to get away.
Oh yeah, it's meditation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything that's a menial task. That's like, you know, I tell people, like, with my Jeep, I like to go off-road in my Jeep, and you have to concentrate. Or if you have, like, here in America, we have guns for sport, and you can go and you can shoot, and it's any menial task that you can just do, and your mind completely forgets about. So, like, yes, I enjoy the 2 hours of cleaning leopard gecko crap because I don't have to think.
Yeah.
It's easy. So your mind can click off, and as long as the work phone doesn't go off, for that hour and a half, afterward I'm a little tired, but I'm like mentally like, oh man.
Yeah. I don't know whether you're the same as well. When I'm cleaning my geckos, I'm thinking about next year's projects, and I'm cleaning them out, and I'm thinking, oh, I could put you to her next season. So I don't know whether you're the same.
Yep.
When questions.
Hey, yeah, I don't pay attention to some people are really good at this, like paying attention to comments and answers. So if I don't answer a question or see it.
Honestly, how Gino and Handy Dandy do it, I don't know. I have to have pauses and go through all the
Lizard Mom is like in mid sentence. She's like, oh hey, ba 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 ba, and hey ba 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 ba,
and it goes straight back to what she was saying on the live.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But I do have some questions on this notebook that some people have been giving me over the last few years. Because of it is breeding season, we normally get this every year. We normally get a load of people sending us photos of geckos, asking us for ID or prices or what do you use. So around about this time, we always get these sort of questions. So this would be really good for the live to start answering questions that most breeders would just pull to one side. So we have, how do you know when your gecko don't want to be paired? So me personally, I'll let Trey have his piece. Me personally is one, if the female's not ovulating, she will not want to be paired. But you will sometimes get a female that is ovulating and she's just a little bit more aggressive. But how I see it is you might get most of my males, if a female tells them to go away, they'll let go. But I do have one male that literally pins the girl down. So there's that. Also, it depends on season, so whether you're brumating. So I think I said this in the Discord the other day. If you Discord I'm talking about, by the way, if you go on to Luna Gecko's Instagram, if you click on the links, he has a Discord. Anyone can join. If anyone's got any questions, you can fire away. It's quite a I joined it a couple of days ago, and it's so peaceful. There's no egos. It's just, you could say, well, I could turn around and say my male laid eggs, and everyone would be like, oh, that's nice, show us the D sort of thing. So
the key there is though no being judgmental, and no question is too stupid. So you're going to see a lot of new people asking really like simple questions that some of y'all are like, oh wow, how do you not know? That's, you know, you can Google things all day long, and until you hear somebody who's lived it and experienced it, it don't mean anything. So that's what that, and I like that. I enjoy it. Gino's.
It's good. I mean, I've been in now. You know, I'm in the WhatsApp group, the UK WhatsApp group. Sometimes that can get a little bit fiery in there, whereas the Discord, it's peaceful.
It's watching DC Geckos shit all over us.
Yeah, honestly,
beautiful.
Dave, believe it or not, I don't know how I've managed it. I don't know whether Siobhan's helped me at SP Geckos. I managed to get a live with Dave, but we're looking more in October time, so that will be ace with Dave with all these. You've seen him, he uploads like his incubator, he'll have like 20 babies hatching a day, whereas I might get 1 or 2. So he'll be awesome. I also have
fires on there. He's like, you know, I started that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know.
I'm fully aware. For some reason, the Americans absolutely love the sunfires. They just go and coppers. You see them all over Germany. We're lucky. We got Dave's an hour and a half away from me, so we're lucky. And I had a conversation. I don't know if it was Gino or somebody else. I said, you Americans are so lucky because you got everything. And then they went, no, we get it all from you. We just breed it in mass.
Yeah.
So the next question, this will probably be something that you
oh, well, I didn't get to answer that because I had some things I wanted to say.
Go on, yeah, absolutely.
So I have learned, for this being in my first year, is I've had some females that as soon as they stop eating during the ovulation, they can be receptive. But I've had a couple that haven't, especially if it's their first year. But after they're done with that first ovulation, and I guess they absorb it, and I'm just from what I've seen, and then they start eating again, and then they go back off. Then they're more receptive, I feel. I had a total eclipse when she first started ovulating. She didn't want anything to do with anybody. And then she went through, and then she started eating again, and then it came back. And boom, she let the same male go right to her. And then also, like you said, it does help. I've got a male who's a Terminator. He's now he's not overly rough, but if they bite him,
he'll stay.
Yeah, hey, let's keep going. And he's like he's a bold stripe, and all of my bold stripe females, he's the one because I have one that I'm going to show today. He's a saint of a gecko, but he's just not ready. He wasn't ready, and he didn't want any part of it. So this one has had to put in work for all of them. And but yeah, I mean, it's some that just you're not gonna get them to do it right away. And I feel like when you get them shipped to you, a lot of that starts the brumation, because I've had a lot of females that get to me, and because it was cold on the trip, or at least they cooled down more than they're used to, within a week they start to boom, 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 boom. That's why I'm getting a lot of these ones I have now as they're coming here. If they're size enough, they're mature enough, boom, it clicks in and they're ready to go. So I'm gonna be lucky. Like, I'll have eggs coming pretty much all this year, and a lot of people are finishing right now. At least that's a bonus for me, is that I'll have some towards the end of the year, and then hopefully start again next year. So
absolutely, yeah. That's what's similar. What's happened to me? I started really late in the season, and I was really annoyed. Everyone's showing me all their eggs and what they've paired, and I'm there like, oh, I want eggs. But now, like I was speaking to CNN Reptiles, he was telling me that, oh, I'm on my last 10 eggs now. I'm looking in my incubator, I've still got 80 eggs. So while everyone's fizzled out and obviously sold all their geckos, I'm going to be here and still producing and raising them. Anyway, I've got another question. And it might be something that you've seen. And if there's any other high-end morph breeders in here, this is something that's a huge problem right now, especially on Facebook, this was from LJ and Noah Geckos. They said, how do we look out for scammers? I mean, it's very hard to say how to look out for scammers, but all I'm going to say is every gecko I purchase off of a breeder, I do my research. I will make sure I look. It's just a simple Google. Like, if you want to buy a Leo from me, if you search EliteGeckos, you're going to get other my YouTube page. You're going to get my Facebook page. There's I can't remember what it's called. There's like a pet review page. I don't know how I'm on there. Somebody's put me on there. But you've got other things like that. If you see in a page called Black Knight for Rehoming and they have 10 likes, I'd be a little bit cautious about that. I mean, have you seen some of this stuff, Trey?
Yeah, like and I had to message Morph Market about a month ago, and because somebody popped up with a super black male, and they were trying to sell it for like $1,300. And I messaged them, and they're like, well, how do you know it's fake? I said, for one, anything this pretty, everybody has already seen it and knows about it, and they're not going to get rid of it, and they're not going to get rid of it for $1,300. And if you go to their Facebook page, they have 7 followers. Yeah. I mean, Jay has, what, 30,000 followers?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have...
It must have cost him a fortune, but yeah, continue.
Yeah. It's like, you're going to, these aren't things that just show up, it's people are going to know. But yeah, they're out there, and it's sad, that happens here with scammers with other things here in the South, because they just fool people. But when you're starting off and you see something like a Black Knight that's unreachable by most standards, if you're trying to get a super black one and you don't have a whole lot of money, it's very easy for somebody to go, hey, man, come over here. $800. I'll give you this. It's too easy. It's in our business, you know, there's a lot of faith because you're asking somebody, hey, give me $2,000 and then I'll send you something. Like anywhere else, that doesn't happen. That's not going to happen. You're not going to buy a dog and give that person the $2,000 and then later they'll show up. I mean, you got to have some stuff proving that, and it's hard to fight that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so, and there's everybody's going to capitalize on somebody. I mean, especially in the pet industry right now with COVID and everything, people are at home, they're buying pets. I've seen it in the food industry for pets. Like you couldn't adopt a dog because so many people went and bought all the dogs, and it was a good time for us in that sense. But you know, people are buying pets at a massive rate, and you're going to get people that are trying to jump in on that.
Yeah. What I always say to people is how to avoid it as well, because I always ask for a video. If you want to go for the gecko, you can and a lot of the time they'll have a load of black night pictures, but like for me example, a lot of my pictures of my geckos are all the same. They're all the same looking, same layouts. Whereas if I go onto black night for rehoming, there'll be an image that's on paper towels, then there'll be an image of it on stones that's been taken from all different pages. So and Jay messages me all the time. He goes, look what this person's messaged me. It's somebody's mum. My son has sent this person, I think it was £600-700 for a black night. And Jay's like, that is not me. And it's just going to affect people like you, Izzy. I mean, not in a massive way, but you will have people that will be like a bit cautious, and it is absolutely annoying, especially when somebody nicks your pictures as well. There's Caitlin, you might know Caitlin on the UK group. She's got a 3-legged black knight, and people are still stealing that photo of a 3-legged black knight trying to sell it. It's just becoming ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, the way I do it is every time I see one, and I had this when I bought my female, Nix, she's 1-year-old and she's solid black, and I didn't believe it. I saw it on Morph Market, and so I messaged the guy and I still didn't believe it. So then I go to Jay's site and I look through all of his pictures, and I'm like, do I see this picture anywhere? Do I see this picture anywhere? No. So then I asked him where did it come from and who do you know? And luckily this person knew Jeff, so I messaged Jeff like, hey, you know this guy? And he's like, oh yeah, I know him. He's a good guy. So luckily I got a really good deal on a really good gecko, but it's not easy. It's never easy. And even with them in general. Like I bought my first black knight. You never know what you're going to end up with. And when she was a baby and she was solid black, and now she's one of my favorite because she's the nicest gecko, and I've got her, but she's not black anymore. So it's like you never know what you're going to get. You're not going to know. My suggestion when it comes to black knights is shop and look at all of them before you pull the trigger, because if you mess up, there's nobody that's going to go out there and save you from it. So
100%. The black knights as well. Funny you were talking about the color and stuff. Is I've just given a black knight to a good friend of mine at Tribal Reptiles, and I know it sounds really silly, but they influence so differently in color. When I was taking it to him, I was thinking, please don't have one of your normal days, because I'm going to give him this gecko. He's going to go, George, that's just a normal. But he knows I've been talking to him for a few years, and he was pre-warned about it all. But anyway, deal's been done, and he's super happy with it. What's Jay put? Oh, he's messing about as normal.
This is the gecko I'm talking about, and I mean she goes through.
See, I like when they look like that, Trey. I called it the golden hue when they got that pattern just sitting behind.
I love her. Trust me, she is the nicest gecko. She loves being held. She's got a great pattern.
Stunning.
But she's not the black one that I needed.
Yeah.
But she came from Jeff, and I sent Jeff the picture, and Jeff was like, "That's not the gecko I sold you." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's okay because she still has her place." Especially since because a lot of times I like to go in and just sit and hold one and look at them, and this is one that I can sit, hold all day long. I could sit here this whole time, and she would just be happy with it. So
that's awesome. You can tell you're not just a breeder. You love your geckos. You love every individual gecko. That's
yeah. Trust me. I tongue feed the majority of them, especially like my my super giant Odin. I tongue feed him, but I tongue feed him like I make him work, because when he's the biggest gecko in the world, I want it to be because his muscle and not just his fat. So I make him work for it, and I make him move around. And I wish we had locust here. We don't have locust here. That would be awesome. But it's I feed every one of them individually. I check every one of them every day. Yeah, they're pretty. I'm an animal person. I've always been an animal person.
I can tell, mate. I can tell how much you love them. While we're on the Black Knight subject, speak more. What's your thoughts on the Black Knight? Have you seen any issues with development? Showcase what you got, because I don't know whether you got a mail from Steve, haven't you? And he's lovely.
Yeah. So, of course, everybody knows they have their issues. They're, Jay will tell you every day that
it's a result of 10 years of inbreeding. It's going to happen. Now we got people like yourself, Jay, who are now crossing, and like the crosses Jay's producing. Oh, look at that. That's nice.
Male.
That's really nice. It's crazy when you see a Black Knight like that in person. Izzy could tell you, Luna could tell you, Trey can tell you. You look at it and it just takes your breath away.
Yeah, I don't like doing just what anybody does. I'm not one of those type of people. So when I first saw Black Knights, I was like, I'm not gonna. But once you get one, and it's actually like, he's even a little lighter right now because he just shed yesterday. But so he'll darken up, and that usually ends up being what happens, is they darken up as they go towards shed. But having this one and the female that I've got, it's like they're the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Just looking at them, their faces, like it's worth having them. It's worth having them. I'm gonna cross him to a bunch. I'm lucky. Like, I've seen how great that's been working for Jay.
Yeah.
And for Gino, he's got a lot of beautiful crosses coming out right now. He's got a lot of snows that are having these almost like a bold stripe effect or a burst stripe, and it's insane. So I've got 3 Tug females coming from Tug. They'll be here Wednesday.
Nice.
I'm gonna do some of those, cross some of those, because the cross is like, I have a Black Knight female that's that I just recently picked up through a local breeder, Big Olds. She's so healthy. She's 87, I think, something 87%. I hate doing all that math, but they're so healthy when you cross them out. Now they're not the darkest, but if you can cross that back, well, that's nice.
From Tug as well.
Oh yeah.
Well, from Tug to Lines.
There are people that I won't badmouth anybody, because everybody's trying. I hope everybody is trying really hard to do the best they can.
Yeah.
And you hope that somebody wouldn't misinterpret or not display what they're really trying to sell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the case. I mean, I had an issue with them. I talked to Craig himself for a while. He even though he didn't wholeheartedly agree, but he still thought that, because it's hard to, when you're in Canada and I'm here, and it's hard to diagnose through a video, some things. It's hard to, but anyway, he didn't matter. He said, you know what, I think you're being honest with me, and here's this credit. You can get some more geckos. I was able to use that to get these tugs, and I think his tug snows are gorgeous. Those 3 I've got coming, I can't wait. They're beautiful. I'm almost thinking I want to get a male and just breed them because they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't ever want to badmouth anybody. Anybody's going to have a problem every once in a while. So
yeah, some mix. There has been. I've personally never got anything off Tug personally. I've had some stuff that people have bought from Tiger and produced babies, like these ones I got down here. These were from Michael Edge at Gecko Lounge. But I haven't personally purchased them, but I have seen mixed opinions. I've seen Jay, but from what I've seen from Tiger, it's stunning. I know in the UK,
they take good pictures. I don't know how the hell they get that damn gecko to stay, every one of them, to do that little, on that rock.
Like, you know, like Art Gecko. I don't know if you've seen Art Geckos. Every Leo he has is that on the turn.
I don't know how I can't get a damn gecko to stay still to save my life. Like, are walking away, and they always find that little hole in the shadow button.
So I've got another question here.
All right.
What's the importance of genetics, and why do we need to know the genetics? Okay, so there is many things breeders say that aren't totally correct. For example, if you breed a bell to a tremper, that gecko is not going to come out deformed. That gecko is going to come out normal, but it's going to be a genetical mess. The only reason, in my opinion, it's good to know genetics is if you go and buy 2 geckos from the pet shop and you hatch out a tremper and you sell that tremper to a breeder and he puts that in his projects that have been going on for 10 years, you could potentially ruin that person's project.
Yep.
There is certain genes that don't work together, but that is the truth, and that is what I think. And what's your thought, Trey, on that? Same?
Yeah, you have to be clear, and with what you said with the bell, and that, and I read that. I'm like, that's rule number 1. Do not breed bell albinos with tremper. So when I was looking into that, and that's why I did my research, and I told Darren I would drive the 8 hour. This was like the day before. I tell my wife, hey, we're going to Florida this weekend. It's about an 8.5 hour trip. We get there, and it was the hotel was this rundown hotel. They were selling drugs, and so I immediately had to go buy a new hotel, and then so I went to Darren's house, and I talked to him, and he showed me. He's like, yes, but I produced for the past 10 years. I've been working this, and so I made sure I did my due diligence, and people are like, oh, no, there's no possible. Yes, there's a possible way. You can do it. I don't have the gumption to do that. I'm not one that wants to breed out some het like that. I don't need to do that. That's, for the more, I just want to work with what I want to work with. And I say that now, and I might get into something that I have to do that with super giants or something. But, yes, it's 100, especially if you're going to sell it as breeder quality, which is what I hope my geckos would be, is breeder quality. You have to know everything about them. Yeah. When you buy it, you have to have a sheet. Like every one of my geckos has a sheet and a book, and I can tell you this, and this. Yeah. And the people I get them from, I wouldn't say hate me, but they're annoyed because I'm going to keep asking question. That's
the right way to do it.
Lori Hug and Kendall at Gecko, etc., and Jeff, and I mean, trust me, they know, because I'm going to ask 400 questions. You got to. Now, if you're just doing this for fun, but I also get mad at the people that are like, you should not breed your 2 geckos because you don't know. Now, if you want to breed them, but as long as you know you're going to take care of them, you're going to home these. There is somebody out there, a little boy for Christmas, that wanted a gecko that just wants a pet, and they can't find them anywhere because the pet stores. So I went through that with my son when we bought our first one. He wanted one so bad, you couldn't find one. There's somebody that's going to want it, and if you're going to breed it, you better damn well be ready to take care of it and have it. But do it. Don't just kill it. Don't just freeze it. Don't just, that drives me insane. That's like, it's like, if you're going to have this baby, be responsible, but you can still do it. Like, don't sell it as a breeder quality and not have the truth about it. But I mean, there's always somebody looking for something.
100%. You hit the nail right on the head there, Trey. People still need to buy their £30, $30 gecko. So you do still need those breeders out there that, okay, let's say you went and bought 2 geckos from the shop and you paid them together, you've got some stunning babies. That is absolutely no problem. But the problem is you get people that are putting hets there when they don't know the hets. There's no problem doing that, but just make sure you don't label yourself as I am a high-end breeder. You can just say, I breed pet leopard geckos, and that's absolutely fine.
It's so much better coming from somebody like us that does that than to go to the PetSmart, because those ones at PetSmart, like that shit makes me sick.
Mm.
Like, the way they're treated there and everything. If there were more breeders that did do that and would eliminate the need to go to a PetSmart and buy that, because it's, you know, those geckos, that shit's sad. I almost buy a gecko every time I have to go there to get something, because I just don't want to leave it there having to deal with that.
I've seen some images. I mean, the only thing close we have here today is Pets at Home, and they sort of only keep a few geckos in the viv at a time. But I've seen some photos at Petco. I've seen 15 geckos in one tank. You know, you get those caves that are up against the glass so you can see the inside. You'll see like 10 geckos in there. It's like, wow.
On sand.
On sand. Izzy had a question. She said about this is back to the genetic question. What about lemon frost? It's a very, very hard topic. This similar to enigmas. Everybody in different countries have different morals on things. Like over here in the UK, you cannot sell an enigma or a lemon frost in the shows. If you put an enigma on your table or a lemon frost, you either be told to pack up or put that gecko away. That's how serious it is. I totally understand some people's perception is I want to breed the lemon frost, the cancers at the lemon frost, which is, I understand why people want to do that. I haven't got no problem with people doing that. But in my opinion is how many geckos is it going to take? How many geckos have got to suffer before you hit that non-cancerous gecko? I just think the facts are there, the science is there. These geckos, they might not get cancer in the first year, they might not get cancer in 5 years, but it is pretty evident that 90% of them suffer terribly. And the lemon frost is made because of us. So how I see it is we shouldn't be breeding lemon frosts.
Yeah. No, I don't have any first-hand experience with that. I don't really have interest in having to worry about it, but I can see the two sides. I can see where you put in this pain and do this work, and maybe you save something, and so we don't ever have to worry about that. But then I also see, you know, it's you're killing those few to get there. So it's a moral. That's a moral one that it's there's no right answer to it. You know, that's a tough one.
It is an absolute shame, because when it first arrived in Morph, I was like, wow, look at the eyes on it, this, that, and the other. And loads of people like Steve Skies, they spent a lot of money. I think Steve Skies spent best part of 15 grand on the first lemon frost, and see that whole project got come tumbling down. But we need to, as breeders, we need to stay ethical to everything we do. This is just what I think. I think it'd be amazing if lemon frosts it was bred out to not be cancerous. But how I see it is if it was a dog, people would be questioning it. Because it's a gecko, it's fine, and that's wrong to me.
Yeah, it's a lot of what we're doing breeding borderlines that. I mean, especially with you look at Black Knights. I mean, you borderline that, but you have to, if you're going to do that, you have to be prepared to take care of that animal with whatever need it needs and make its life absolutely the best for that possibility. And you know, none of the things I've seen with any of the Black Knights that I have or anything that would make their life more difficult or not, you know, enjoyable. But when you're dealing with genetics and trying to make things great, you're going to have that moral quandary no matter what you're doing, just different severities.
Definitely. So the next question we have here is how to identify certain genes and morph signatures. It's a very difficult one because nobody has pinpointed what morph to ID. All I can say, with white and yellows, you have the high white sides and you have the halo on the head. Max snows obviously come out black and white. Albinos come out banding.
The one that gets me is when people have a hard time with snows. Because I mean, am I wrong? All snows come out black and white, right? Like,
unless you had albino.
Yeah.
And when you got snows and white and yellow as well, a lot of people scratch their head and like, Even me, sometimes I'll label something a possible, like something I'll have hatched from a snow pairing, and I'm like, is that snow? Is it not snow? So I always make sure I put a possible in front of it. Usually later on down the lines, when it grows up, you'll be able to. That's why a lot of people, like someone mentioned Cambridge Gecko in here. he pretty much holds back everything, test breeds it, then sells it. That is the ideal way to do things, but it's impossible to continue a hobby holding back everything. Some people are getting cheaper ones.
Yeah, it's hard, especially when you get like eclipse, like radars. Radars are, it drives me insane because radar, that baby will come out and it's radar. It's got red eyes, it's got the patterning, and then all of a sudden a week later, it don't have the red eyes anymore. And you're like, it still has the patterning. And I talked to Jeff about that. He goes, dude, that happens all the time. In my opinion, in his opinion, it's still radar. If it has the pattern in it, sometimes the eyes just go to a snake eye eclipse, but it's you know, it's always going to be difficult. Me and you had that problem with that one that Emerine it looked albino, like everything, one little speck, and even still to this day, like it still is the most non-albino gecko that like there's even the black that was in the tip was gone real light, and it's like, man, it's just, but it's not because the eyes aren't not even close. They're
So basically, everybody, what happened was Trey sent me a hatchling, and I said to him, albino, 100%. That's your typical yellow and pinkish bands. And he said, look at the tail. Zoomed in on the tail, you know, one little speck. I was like, I wish I could tell you, I'm looking like an amateur right now, but I still learn. I'm still learning.
Yeah, no, it's always difficult to get, because especially if you're crossing things that have a lot of genetic markers in it. You know, if it's easier when you're doing just this to this, that's it. I mean, like the Bells. See, and that's another thing that with my Bell Super Giants is everyone has been 100%. Yeah, that's albino. That's albino. That's on the sixth base now. That's definitely. So it's easier that way, but it's hard. It's not easy, especially in your first year. Your first year, you're like, what did I make? Like what is all this? Like, how did that happen?
I would say leopard gecko genetics are one of the hardest. I mean, ball pythons are very, very similar, but with ball pythons is if you hatch something you wasn't supposed to hatch, it's like, oh, that's a bonus. I got that for free. Whereas leopard geckos, if you hatch out an MP from a pairing you bought for free, you weren't supposed to hatch an MP, you are getting posted all over Facebook. So... Izzy just put, can she pair a Max Snow to a Super Snow? You absolutely can. The only issue with the Super Snow to Super Snow is some people do it. And in my opinion, a Super Snow to Super Snow will hatch out the best Super Snows you will see. But you can get something called a duck face. I don't know whether it's a term you guys use in America, is they have that sort of, like a duck face. So we always sort of stem away from Supers to Supers, but Mac and Supers, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. I've even done Super Snow to Super Snow. I haven't had any problems, but you can get the duck face.
What's your take on Tug to Mac? Because Tug, you can't put two Tugs together to get the super form, but you can put Tugs to Mac and get super form. How do you feel about that?
I wouldn't pair any Snow together. The only reason being is it is impossible to ID what Snow it is. So if you pair a Tug and a Mac together, and let's say you do hatch a super form, what do you name that? Do you name it Tug Mac Super Snow?
I mean, but as long as you tell the person.
Possibly. I just know.
Like, hey,
from me, I would.
Mac, and look what we made. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Know this going into it. I mean, I haven't done that, but I've thought about it. I was looking at it, and I was thinking, I was like, man, you know. How would somebody feel? Because you get the purists and like, oh my God, you're an animal. But maybe somebody wants that Tug mix, and they know, hey, here's this.
Yeah, I mean, anything. I mean, a lot of what we do is trial and error. Like I know some people do pair the two Snows together to try and hopefully hit something different. It all comes down to honesty. If you're saying, I wanted to experiment something, I paired a Tug to a Mac, this is the babies, told them everything, I can't see any issue with that at all.
Yeah. I'll grab my Snow while we're talking about that.
So I also had another question now. I'm not going to answer this question. It was how to sex a gecko. The reason why I'm not going to answer the question is in the last live, I done the sex a gecko. And also, again, if you go to Lunar Gecko's channel, go to the Discord. He has an exclusive how to sex a gecko guide. So what's this you got here, Trey?
So this is my lavender bold Max Snow.
Stunning. Oh, she's definitely got lavender.
Oh yeah, big time. This is the male. He's huge. His name's Shaq.
Like Big Shaq.
I love he's got vanilla, the lavender, the brown, and then he's got gray, like a steel gray dots. And I don't even know if y'all can see that very well.
He's lovely. Wow.
He's huge.
Yeah. Well, I saw your hand earlier when you held it against a soda can, and look at the size of him.
Oh yeah, he's about 70 grams.
Stefan.
He's my normal, but he is the biggest sissy. I try, and he just luckily I paired him to my lavender snow, and she's got fertile eggs, and she's about to lay again. But I don't know how he did it, because he is the biggest baby. And every time she didn't like it, he went nuts. So, and he'll only do it in the dark. I have a huge, so I put mine in 28 quart tubs, and he's got a huge hide that takes up a good part of that, because he will not do anything unless it's in that complete dark. Like eat anything, he has to be in complete dark. And I got him from Geckos, etc. And he's getting close to 3 years old, and I'm assuming it's because he lived in a dark tub for a long time.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's part of the, when you get as big as that, that's part of that business. You know, it's
100%. It's like if you buy a gecko, like you said, from some of these top breeders, you might notice your gecko is going to be quite skittish. The truth be told is, when you've got the amount of geckos like Steve's got, you can't sit there every 5 minutes holding the gecko, taming it. It's just impossible. I mean, even so with me now, I can't spend all the time handling every gecko. I do handle every gecko, but I don't sit there for 10, 20 minutes handling the gecko. All I know from my experience with geckos, they are super easy to tame. So yeah, evergreen reptiles, did you get that from Gecko, etc.? Yeah, he did. Yeah, Trey did. Yeah. Trey only gets from the best, so obviously you got it from Steve.
Well, yeah, no, Steve, and but it's crazy. Like I don't ever. I mean, in a perfect world, could I what I want to be as big as he is? It would be great to make a living doing that and being that big, but I see the geckos and they're gorgeous. The geckos I get from him, but like him, they're basically wild. They're and then when I text Kendall and I'm like, hey, I'm looking for this, it takes a week for them to look through to find. Like, it's not. I mean, that's borderline over what I would ever even want to remotely be like, because you know, again, this is they're all pets to me. They're all I try to put as much effort to them as possible. So does it work? Because reptiles, I feel reptiles don't want to be around us. They don't want to love us. It's one that you hold and you're like, oh, he loves me. No, I feel like he tolerates you. Yeah. And he enjoys the heat from your hand. But if they never saw you, they'd be just as happy. And
100%.
It's our want and need for a partner or a friend that makes us want them to want us, which I don't believe is ever the case. But at least I feel if you're going to do that, leopard geckos are the most tolerable of all the species that will tolerate it the most. And that's not all of them. There are some that do like getting out and coming in, seeing things and doing that. And I love those. Those are the great ones. But most of them are like, hey, man, feed me and leave me alone. Put a female in every once in a while. Go away. I don't want to hear it.
I almost see them because I used to keep marine fish, and I always found that with marine fish, they done better when you left them the hell alone. I mean, leaving the hell alone. Obviously, you can't handle a fish, but I mean, cleaning the glass every 5 minutes, taking the algae off the sand. I always found when you left them, they did better. And the same with my geckos. I always find they do better when I leave them the hell alone. Some of my geckos, I don't know whether it's something I've done and they've just gone into a routine. Some of mine won't feed until I leave the room.
Oh, yeah.
Some of mine just won't even feed until I leave the room.
But I will say they are smart. And again, I I think Kevin said it the other day, you know, we judge them because we try to judge them against other animals like dogs and everything when you say smart or people or whatever, whoever said that on y'all's live the other day. But they're smart because they know who feeds them and they know when it's feeding time. And they know if you go one day over, the next day they're like, oh, hey, this guy. I know this guy brings me that food. And I see those tongs. I mean, there are some that they are so smart.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I know leopard geckos are one of few mammals that can repair their brain. So if they get brain damage, they are one of few animals that can repair their own brain. A bit like an axolotl. You can. And that sounds bad. You could chop off an axolotl's leg off and it will grow it back. So it's a nice little fact there. Got another question here. Can you see hets visually? So this is another one. A lot of people that start in the hobby, I personally feel like breeders say it so new people don't mess up. Like, you can't breed Tremper and Bell because they'll be deformed. I'm pretty sure it's just a breeder's way to say, don't pair them together, it's going to be a mess. But when they say, can you see hets visually? I say, yes, you can to certain ones. For example, Murphy Patternless and Blizzard, they hatch out very spotty. It's hard to tell between the two. Like, I can't see a spotty gecko go, that's Het Blizzard. Someone might go, no, that's actually Het MP. But generally, a Het Blizzard or a Het MP can hatch spotty. Also, you can see some things with eclipse as well. Sometimes you'll get a white tail tip and a white feet, but you won't get the white nose or the snake eye. Or you might get a white nose, white feet, no white. You probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, does that mean that maybe it's eclipse, but it just didn't show all of the eclipse?
Possibly. It could be a what's the word?
I think bells are like that too, though. If you have a bell that's Het Bell, I can look at it and go, oh, that's a bell. It's not albino or albino. So it's but I mean, yeah. Again, I'm not an expert. Just from what I know, that's not a me question. Yeah.
Canda put, hey guys, looking for a crested gecko breeder, any good in the UK? I actually breed cresties, so you're more than welcome to drop you're more than welcome to drop me a message. I've actually got some babies growing out, but I can also really highly recommend Luke Tanner at Leaping Cresties. Really good friend of mine, really high up in the UK, and somebody who should be doing a live with me at some point. So yeah, hit them up or hit me up. Another question. What's the difference between... I'm really impressed, actually, you, Trey. You've answered these. You've smashed some of these questions. I thought I was going to pickle your brain.
I'm telling you, like, luckily in my career, I have a lot of stuff I've got to pay attention to, but I'm also at a desk for a good portion. And while I'm sitting there trying to look like I'm doing something, I can look on the internet and read and stuff. So I get a good time to a bit of time that I can, you know, do my job while not doing my job. Yeah.
Genki Gecko, how much success have you found between a super giant and a non-giant babies becoming giant?
What was the first part? I didn't hear the first part.
How much success have you found with a super giant and a non-super giant pairing? Are they recessive or polygenic? I personally, I don't know whether Trey agrees, I think it's all line bred. The reason why I say that is, I've said it in a lot of my lives. If your mum and dad are 7 foot, you will predominantly have 7 foot kids. But there is a chance of having a 6 foot kid. But that 6 foot kid could have a baby with a 7 foot man and have a 7 foot kid. Does that make sense? With big geckos, if anything I pair to my super giant male, the babies will be big. You will hatch 1 or 2 normals, but predominantly, I personally think it is line bred. I've done a super giant to super giant, and it's hatched a normal sized baby. But that baby paired back to a super giant will hatch super giants. So that makes me think it's got to be blood.
I don't know. I just know from what I experienced. And I have seen that even with a super giant that's small, it's not built the same. I have a super giant female that's only about 80 grams. But her frame is not built the same as every other female normal that I have. That female normal might get up to 80 grams if she gets fat.
Yeah.
But like the jaw set and the frame and the legs, and I can just, when I see that, I can tell it's a super giant. So that's, I feel like, because like even with me, like you say that, but like my parents are little. I'm 6'7".
Oh.
So I feel like if you have the gene in you to make them, then you will make them. And it doesn't necessarily, I don't know if it, I don't know, again, I'm not an expert whatsoever. I just know what I see. And, you know, it's like when I bring Odin, and I'll grab him in a second now, when you look at him and you look at his head, you like, y'all just saw my, that's, you know, 70 gram normal.
Yeah.
It's not even built the same. It's not even, they're not even.
Like you say, they have a different structure. Their head's bigger, and the thing with giants is it's not all about weight. People go, oh, how big, how big, how big? It's not always about the weight. I might not feed my geckos as much as anybody else. So it does come down to length as well. It's like when I show my super giant female, people are like, is that a super giant? If I want to make her 110 grams, I can, but she's going to look super unhealthy. I'll show her because I'm pretty sure I know what Trey's going to get out. But also, I kind of agree with Magic because Magic's really knowledgeable.
He's not like, but
is this the Bell SG?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, he is, and his head is just not, he's not fat whatsoever.
You can see.
He scrunches up a lot. But this is like this is why I like Bell, because even the albino, they're the most colorful and just like, I love them. Like it's, and again, not that I don't like trimpers.
I don't think there is one super giant Bell over here in the UK. Not that I know of anyway. So I'm going to have to hit you up, ain't I?
Yeah. I mean, like he is, and he just turned a year this month.
Oh, you got some more growing then. He's going to be big. Oh, yeah. He's going to be big.
He's 110 grams and 11.5 inches. I mean, like his tail.
No, he's good. He's good.
He's got the red eyes. He's radar.
How do you personally find them with feeding? Do you find that they could keep going if you want them to go?
No, because I only feed him. I was feeding the super worms for a little bit every so often, but I don't feed him every day, and I don't let, like I said, I don't let him. He won't. He's not one of those geckos that'll just I'm gonna eat. No, he'll eat 6 or 7 mealworms, maybe 8 large mealworms, and then he's done. He'll walk away. I don't want to do no more. So, and he'll eat, not every day. I feed him. Some days I'll go 3 or 4 days. When he was breeding, it'd be every 2 or 3 days. Yeah, that's a good looking one. I like the trimpers. Like that tripper, that baby I just got. I'm really happy with him.
15th of June, that super giant hatched.
Yeah, he's pretty.
But like I've got little hands.
Yeah, but he's a horse, and like I said, my hands are pretty huge, and he's.
You will find as well, Trey, is once you get people, a lot of people are like super giant. What is this? What is? When you go like that, especially with your David Seaman hands or the goalkeeper hands, that's when people start going. Like the one I gave to Jay. To this day, I kick myself. I'm like, I gave him that super giant like this.
Yeah, that's it's it's tough because you want them to be big and you want them to be, but you don't. I don't want them to be fat. I don't want like this is the guy I just got, and he's turning to be more of a copper trimper because he's got a lot of orange that keeps showing up in him.
Damn, nice.
But he's 3 months old and he's 40 grams, almost 44 grams now.
I like the look of that one. Is that orange head on it? I can see.
Yeah, that's
nice.
He's supposed to be white and yellow also.
Reptile says something about white and yellow earlier. Funny enough, what did he say?
But like even like if you look into his, he's getting an orange kind of.
Stunning.
And like I said, I'm a lot. I mean, he's almost my whole hand already.
Yeah, stunning.
3 months old. And the big thing is, I'm trying to make sure I get giant females now too.
Yeah.
So female I got to pair to him, and I go, and I don't know how you judge size. I mean, of course you're going to have some that take off. They all have a different time of when they take off.
Yeah.
But 10 grams a month is a good measure, I feel, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. They all grow at complete different rates. I've had some 6 months down the line, they look like normal, and all of a sudden they go boom, just like that. And like the one I gave Jay, the last 6 months of his, Jay could probably put in the comments, the last 6 months before it turned a year, it just shot up. At first I was a little bit like, oh, is it a giant? But it just absolutely shot up. Kevin's here, must have finished his early bird Florida buffet. Them Florida people, I've been to Florida. They live in a life of just like kings over there. It's so warm. I see Kevin, he's out there, he's just watering the garden. He's got a big tortoise. Yeah, everything's like, yeah.
So she's 2 months old. Don't go crazy.
Oh, no.
And for super snows, it takes, everything I've read, everybody I've talked to, it takes them a while to grow.
Yeah.
Just normal. She's 25 grams already. She's super snow, het bell, super snow eclipse.
Nothing's wrong with you Florida people. I loved it there. I loved it there. Every time we went, everyone was super nice to us. Yeah, loved it. Didn't get called James Corden though, so.
Yeah, hey, that's your fault. I
know I should have kept my mouth shut. Yeah. I have a funny question.
Americans do that. Anytime you kind of resemble and then you have an accent, that's all we know.
We've got Mr. Incredible here. We've got Mr. Incredible. So, this is a typical novice question. What's the difference between a bell and a tremper? Can you see the difference visually? I say hell yeah. You see a lot of people.
Now, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's.
Yeah, it can be difficult, but I find bells are a lot more bolder. Rainwaters are quite washed out. But I would say it will go back to make sure you go to a reputable breeder to make sure they know. You shouldn't be having to answer that question. That's what I'm trying to say. You should make sure you go to reputable breeders and make sure they know that's a tremper or a bell.
Yeah, and if you question it, if you see something, you look at it, and you go, "Oh, I don't think that looks like a tremper." Tell them to show you the parents.
Yeah,
I mean, if they're any good breeder, even if they don't own the parents, they should have a picture of them somewhere. Like I have a picture of pretty much every one I have ever had. So this is a bell, Sunspire. His name's Apollo.
Sorry to cut you off, Trey. DC Geckos said you look like a young John Goodman.
People like a friend of mine, he does tell me that I look like, because there's times when I get animated and get going, that he reminds me, I remind him of John Goodman from the Big Lebowski. But this Sunfire, which good job on that whole line.
Oh, he's big.
Yeah. I call him Zombie because his ribs kind of look.
That's stunning. And you've even got DC Geckos in the house. This is his line.
Yeah. It's. I mean, he's awesome. And the female that I got, she's still young. He's about a year old. But this is like the bells. That stripe on the tail usually looks almost like a worm working through the tail. Every bell that I have does.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. I've noticed that they come out very jungly patterned, and when you got radars, their eyes are piercing. Yeah, Dave just said very nice jungle.
Yeah, and this male is from, his parents are directly from Dave. Like they were imported directly from him and then made this guy. So
If any Americans are watching, I'm pretty sure Dave can get geckos overseas. He goes to ham shows a lot. So yeah, big shout out to Dave. He's definitely an important person over here for us.
Yeah.
What do you use for heating? That's another question. There's something you could probably answer as well. So what do I use for heating? So I use heat cable. The reason why I use heat cable is it's cheaper to run because of heat mat. You might have one heat mat that's 50 watt, whereas the heat cable that supplies enough heat for 60 baby tubs is 100 watt. Funny enough, always use a thermostat. This is a new one I've tried. I don't think you can get it in the USA, but this is Reptile System. This is their new thermostat they've brought out. This isn't a sponsor, by the way. This is their new thermostat they brought out, and it also works for aquatic fish as well. It cost £20 and it seems to be doing a grand job. So it's not something I normally use. I normally use Haberstats, but this is the thermostat. It's cheap for the starter, and I use heat cable. Yeah. What about yourself, Trey? Heat cable, heat mat?
I use so I have all my stuff I make myself, even my incubators. So I have, it's because I use the 28 quart rack. I have big racks, and I use the heat tape, the one y'all thought the HTG or whatever that is, and I find that it works. You got to find the spots. You got to make sure you're monitoring, and then I just use I beat Thermostat, and but I find it's easy here during the summer because the room's going to be about 82 degrees anyway. So,
Do you, I don't know whether it's something, because I know a few people have messaged and said, I'm planning on doing no heating, but I want to make it so it's a temperature set to the room. I know Geeky has done this, and I do know there's one other person in the UK that had done this and messaged me for advice because of the blow heater just cooked everything, killed the whole collection. There was black nights, there was stone wash in there. I think he lost about £20,000 worth of equipment. So I always say heat mat or heat cable and a good thermostat. Do you get that a lot in the USA? Do you get a lot of people that just keep them to room temperature? Well, not room temperature, but the temperature of the room. I suppose that in Florida it's really hot. So I know a lot of Vietnamese people, a lot of Filipinos, they just keep them in tiny little lunch boxes.
Yeah, I don't know if I subscribe to that because, I see personally, they don't always want to be that hot. Like, I keep one side between 90, get that hot enough and then give them enough room. I like to keep it at least 78. I try to keep the room 78 degrees. It's tough sometimes.
Yeah.
But I can tell there's times when they're like they're up against the far side against it, like, man, shit, turn this down a little bit. But it's, I'm not an expert enough to do. I don't personally let the room stay. It stays. It's good to have it close to 78 and 80 because I don't have to worry about it getting too cold.
Yeah.
But I keep air conditioning running because I don't want them to get nearly too hot either. This is the female sun bell that I have for him, and they're both radar.
Stunning. Would you say you're digging bell more than Tremper?
I don't know. I don't have enough Tremper. I do. Like that female that I got for the Super Giant. I love her too. You can make either one of them look great. I love the rips and the in the lavender sections. Bells tend to have that more often. I love the red eyes for the radar. So,
last year I hatched so many. I don't know if you saw the live I done with JW Geckos. Last year I hatched so many bells, but as much as I really, really do like them because I think they're a lot cleaner than Tremper. Tremper's been around longer, been played around, we've put in loads of things. And I just find bell, they breed a lot better. Their babies come out really strong. It's like, I can't remember who told me. Someone said, "Do you ever notice the Bell baby? They hardly ever scream. You can just pick them up." I think it was Gino. You can just pick them up and put them in their tub.
Yeah, again, I don't have enough experience. I do find like it all depends. I feel like they breed also for, you know, I don't know if it's like dogs. A dog can breed for aggression. I don't know if it's part of the line on how they act. No. I mean, my Bell, like I've got a TikTok video that's got like 410,000 views because he was screaming and angry. So,
oh right, so that answers that one then.
yeah, I got Bells that'll scream too, but you know, I don't know that I necessarily have a preference. I want to get some rainwater. I want to, you know, I just found that the Bells had more color when I had the chance, and I mean, I like, again, Trimpers, as long as it's not, you know, I like the high contrast Trimpers right now. They're beautiful. I like it when there's some orange mixed into it. I like crazy stuff. I like pattern.
I'm actually tempted. I don't know whether we're going to get any hate for this. I'm actually tempted to, and it will take a few years. A lot of people that do new projects, like, for example, Dave's Copper originally come from Tremper, and he's been working with it for a few years to get the Copper Bell. So I am tempted to do Bell Red Diamonds. Don't know whether I'm going to do it yet, but it's something I'm really interested in doing. The reason why is Tangerine and Bell just pop. Like that baby you sent me earlier, I looked at it and I was just like, that's incredible. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to lie, I was like, that's incredible.
That one, the other babies were pretty. That's the first one I've had come out. That's the fourth one, and it shocked me this morning because I've been waiting because they were supposed to hatch yesterday. I think it was 35 days, and I was like, oh come on. And then this morning I'm like, holy shit! Like, yes, that's what I'm. Yeah, like I mean, that's the kind of stuff I like. Like I like that one that I showed earlier. Like when it's got real bright, but then it also has contrast, and I'm really a big fan of the lavenders and the purples. That's why I gravitated towards that, and I'm hoping that I'm keep recreating that. I like them all. Like, you know, and orange is great. But I'd like to see a really red one. That'd be great. Really.
Have you seen my Inferno?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna get. I've got it out every single time.
My mom's never seen a gecko before, but she's seen your Inferno because you show it to everybody. Yeah, yeah.
What's a gecko?
Yeah, like it's I want to get a couple really orange ones, but I'm scared to spend a real high amount of money on something that's going to turn to a lighter. If they stay that bright orange, I just need to find the right one that I know is gonna.
Yeah, I've seen a few. I've seen a few breeders in the USA, no names mentioned, in pictures, stunning. Absolutely stunning. And then when I've had a few people, I bought this, what do you think of it now? And I'm like, I think you might have had one as well, Trey. And I was like, oh, I don't know, it might have been you.
The babies I have right now that aren't super giant, I just did that to get, like, because it's a Tremper, she's a Raptor, white and yellow, and she's the sweetest. Like, she is like the sweetest. And then I took that Emerine, Tangerine, and bred them, and just because I need to learn, I need to know what I'm doing. And if I never sell one of them, I'll have all of those same ones. I think they're cool because they're coming out that really green. Emerine is in them, but the damn father is like the Hercules genes because there's not one albino, there's not one that looks remotely like her. They're all a muted soft Tangerine with that Emerine, but it is.
Ollie just asked me a question. He wants to see the red diamond.
Yeah, I'm going to end up getting me a couple of those too. I keep saying I'm done.
So, when we say about being honest, these are crosses. A lot of people have one red diamond, pair it to something else, they label all the babies red diamonds. These are red diamond crosses. I'm going to show you the best one first. I did show it, I think it was about 5 minutes ago. This is the one Magic likes. Oh, he jumped. By the way, Leos do jump.
Oh, yeah. Not very, yeah. See, that's the kind of stuff I like. Like if those patches stay like that, man.
Oh, honestly, I know with red diamonds they do that. And somebody messaged me, I think it might have been Bubba Geckos, he said, is there any emerine in that? Because of the emerine can hatch out looking like that. And this is the other one. Thing is with crossing like red diamonds or anything, you normally get like 1 or 2 really good ones. This is the Clutch Mates Award one I just showed.
Oh yeah, see, that's what mine all look like. So this is one of my bold stripes that I got. He's the only one not locked up from being pregnant.
Oh, stunning.
He's 0 hets.
Love.
And he's just the chillest. I mean, I didn't get to breed him this year because he just wasn't interested. Now he's kind of interested, but all the females are.
Oh, mate, you got a good little collection going down, man.
Yeah, I wish I could get some of the other bold stripes I have, because you know the funny thing is I got 2 different colors. I've got some that are very black and yellow, and then I have some that are almost like a light mint, like almost it's crazy. It's almost I would get that male, but he's the one that breeds aggressively, and he's not the nicest thing in the world. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what all the babies. But you know, they definitely, all of my bold stripe eggs that are about to come out should definitely, because both parents are 100% solid stripe down both sides.
I love the bold stuff when it's mixed in with tangerines. I know Magic in the comments, he's exactly the same. Something about, and like firebolts, it's just the contrast that, and with bandits, people just seem to go absolutely crazy for them. I've got another question. This is a good one, actually. Why is the community so divided? I wish I could give you a solid answer. I don't know whether it's jealousy or whether it's competition. I don't know whether it's different in America, but I know over here, and the only thing I can think of it is, because we're so small, you can travel from right at the bottom. I'm in London, so I'm right at the bottom of the country. I can get from the bottom to the top in a day. So we are all stepping on each other's feet. So if I went and bought a 1.3 group of Black Knights, not that I'm going to, it will be kind of stepping on Jay's toes. So I don't know whether it's that aspect of it. But what I've also noticed is if somebody doesn't, let's say, somebody doesn't agree with something I've done, for some reason, a lot of other people get bought into it, and then people form an opinion on you. I just think everyone should judge somebody off of their own perspective. I can't get my words out. You should judge somebody by yourself, sort of thing. You shouldn't. If Jay comes to me and goes, "I wouldn't really talk to Trey," I'd make my own judgment of you, not anybody else, because I've never spoken to you. But I wish I could say why it's divided. I can only seem to think it's jealousy or competition. Like I said at the start of the live, if you're doing good, people will have things to say. If you're doing really badly, if you're breeding messed up geckos, pet quality geckos, nobody's going to comment. But if you're producing a fire bell supergiant, people will be a bit more like, "Oh, what's the parents? Did you test breed the parents?" and be a little bit funny, as you know. Well, what's it like? In the USA, Trey? Is it similar?
You'll get that too. If you're doing really good and people are hating on you, there's a reason for it. I mean, I personally think like the market and the breeders and everything, it's so saturated here. It's like, and it's funny because Instagram, you have so many things, and I don't want to offend anybody who's watching this if you take part in this, but it's like such a fight to get followers and to be able to say, "Oh, I've got this many. Oh, I've got this many. Oh, I've got this many." And the funny thing is, all the followers are all the same people that are selling the same thing that you have. So it's not like you're getting potential customers to be your followers. So, but I get it. Everybody wants to be thought of as important, And then there are those people that are just, and I'm not perfect. I'll see something and I'll be like, man, fuck, he's doing it better than I am. So, you know, nah, like you're talking about that huge super giant you got that's young and huge, and I'm just like, mine aren't that big yet. Not that I dislike you for it, and that I wish you to not be able to. It's just
human nature.
I feel like I'm a decent person when it comes to that kind of stuff because I want everybody to do good.
Yeah.
But if I can feel that, I know that there's people out there that are the same way. They just, you know, and then you get into cliques and they're all sharing the same thing.
Yeah.
And if you're not on that list, and like they've been doing the big thing, and everybody was posting the top 10 people, and it's like, you know, it's all the same people on the same list. And if you're, you know, and I appreciate Geckos who put me on one of them. It's just, you know, it's you get out, it's like they're making niches and groups, and if you're not a part of that group, you're not the cool kid. And I've always shied away from that because I wasn't always big enough to take care of myself. I got bullied quite a bit growing up, and I went through hell because I tried to defend a guy one time, but then when I hit 8th grade, I got huge and big and strong, and that shit stopped. But yeah. I've always been very sensitive to that because it's not, you know, no matter what I think, it's always, everybody deserves their opinion. And there's a lot of that, you know, we have the cancel culture here and even in Geckos. It's like, you know, everybody doesn't want somebody to have their own opinion. You have to have my opinion or you're wrong and we need to get rid of you. That's not true. Even if I strongly don't agree with somebody, hey, do you, as long as you're not trying to convince my kids that they're right over me and that, you know, hey, so be it. But it's, you know, it's difficult. It's, you got so many different age ranges and different cultures and all of this, especially here. It's, you know, you're going to get people that are just shitty for the sake of being shitty. I messaged, I don't know, I ever know how to, what MS Farm or how do you put it, about one of her geckos, a couple of her geckos.
I know you
asking about price. Because she had it priced really low, and I was like, man, I want to snatch these, but I want to make sure they're not pet only. And she was giving me kind of curt answers, not on purpose, but just because she's had so many people message her, telling her you shouldn't price your geckos like that. Like, fuck, I mean, that ain't your job. Don't tell people what they're supposed to do. Just see it, and if you don't like it, go, well.
If she wants to rehome them all for free, that's down to her. Yeah. I just think too many people stick their nose in other people's businesses too much. I mean, it isn't a competition. It is. This isn't a race. It's a marathon. So, you know.
I'm coming for that German supergiant. I'm coming for that. But it can be competition without. Like, I'm not going to go behind your back and say, oh, no. Like, I get all my geckos from Calico, but I'm not going to go to somebody and say, no, don't buy from him because I want you to buy from me.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Like, shucks, I didn't get that sale, but, you know, hey, I mean.
Stay true to yourself always.
Like, it'll happen. If it don't happen, I'll have to open another room in the house and fill geckos up with. It's not. If you go into this expecting to be the greatest and be the best, you should always try to be, but don't hate other people because you're not, or they're doing something that you haven't done. And for the people that are doing it, don't be fucking offended when people are trying to mimic what you're doing. That should be flattered.
That's a good one.
You should say, hey man, like, and there's a lot of people that are good with that. There's a lot of people I saw everybody loves Matt. What is it?
Sobek.
Yeah. But I saw a comment the other day when he was like, if it didn't come from me, it's not a clown. So stop calling. Like, get the fuck. I mean, I get it, but it's you got to have some humility. And I'm not saying, again, I don't know the guy personally. I'm not saying he's not, but you should. You should have humility at all times because even if you're the best, even if you're Dave at DC, there's somebody who's going to teach you something someday.
100%.
I mean, it's like, even if you're Mike Tyson, I'll put a reference for you. There's somebody that can beat up Mike Tyson. Like maybe not until he's 90, but there's somebody that would Mike Tyson. There's always somebody that can beat you up. It's don't ever stop being humble. That's the biggest thing.
Absolutely, you got to stay humble. And like when new people do come in, you should welcome them with open arms, not push them away. Because of don't ever burn any bridges, because of you never know when you need that bridge. So
and everybody has seen Jay's ass. Can we please stop? If you keep talking about it, he's just going to keep showing it. And
have you seen his ass? Damn!
I know it's made it to America. It's bigger than the Beatles. It's peaches, mate. It's peaches. Yeah.
I have another question here. This is actually somebody who's purchased 2 giants off of me this season. It's quite an interesting question. I don't really know how to answer it. So the people putting out their answers in the comments would be good. So next season is going to be his first breeding season. Should he keep all the babies back or not? I mean, that's a really tricky one. What I say is if there's a project you're working on, for example, if you want to hatch geckos with a really orange head, you want to hold back all the babies with the orange head, and then the ones that haven't, you can release. It all depends on what you want to do. With super giants or giants, I would recommend hold them out to about 40 grams if possible, because that way you can ID it properly and guarantee somebody that's going to be a big gecko. The problem with giants, similar to black knights, is you can sell a giant at 20 grams and that won't ever get very big. Although it might reach 70 grams. So just let people know this could happen. Same with black knights. I've seen 2 light black knights almost look normal hatch out a jet black. I think Izzy had one that hatched jet black. So just be honest. Anything you like, hold back, and yeah, I'd say yeah, definitely. You can definitely. If you're, from what I think he might be asking, can I sell next season? And yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's again, that's all. I don't know how many I'll hold back. If like that one that hatched today, from right now, it looks like he's probably going to stay with me. When it comes to selling them, haven't advertised any of my super giants yet. I did have somebody purchase one. But yeah, I promise them. All I can tell you is its mother was a super giant. Its father was a super giant. It could be. It looks awesome. I don't at that side. If it's below a small, see, it's all about what you price them for. Like I can price them that this is a super giant baby. That's what I'll price you for. Now, if I hold on to it and it gets really big, then I'll price for. Hey, this thing is huge. It's going to be really big. Like if I was to sell Odin right now at 110, 12 months. I would price him because he's going to keep getting bigger. So you can do it. It just depends on what people want. Like I got lucky when I sold this one. I didn't get lucky. I really kind of regret selling them because, but I like sharing with the community too. Like I want people to get these things. Like I talked to, and I almost would give some away if it just meant like, people are like, man, I love this so much and I want my stuff to be out there and people wanted to do it. It's not about money, but you just have to be upfront. Like I have on my website, like if I do sell you a black knight, which I haven't come close to yet, I won't be able to, he's at size to breed, but my female's not, she won't be till next year. There's no guarantee on that. There's not even close. Like you can't guarantee any of it. So you just have to make sure, but even still, like what I will tell them is, although my female is not the brightest, she's the coolest, and she changes so much. It's like you're buying 2 geckos. You'll have a yellow and spotted one this day, and then right before she starts to shed, she'll be the blackest thing. And I mean, it's all about, you just have to, if you're going to spend that money, you have to go in knowing it. Like there's no guarantees on anything.
Yeah.
I mean, never. It's not like you're buying a car and you're, brand new and there should be a guarantee that you have this.
It's an animal. It's living and breathing. You can't guarantee anything. It's like if I sell you a gecko, and let's forget about the black knight and everything. If I sell you a gecko in 2 months' time, that gecko passes away. That's not something that anything could happen to that gecko. Gecko could have a heart attack, anything. So that is the problem. Like you said, with a car, you can sort of guarantee, or a phone, you can guarantee. So with an animal, you can't guarantee anything. You can't guarantee anything.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it comes with black knight. I mean, not black, super giants. Like I can tell you that his father was massive. His mother was a good sized super giant. It's going to be Belle, and it's but will it be as big as mine? No, I hope so. I see with these, like, it takes a while for them to start really, but when they do, they take off. Like these, like I got another Super Snow Eclipse female Bell Supergiant. When I got her, was so little, and in 3 weeks she is tripled in size. She's got the let me grab it. I got it right here. Now she eats like a monster. She's very food aggressive.
I'm going to grab one of my geckos as well, because there's one I picked up today I really want to show off. So I'll let you grab your gecko and take the show, and after I want to show a special gecko, and I'm pretty sure Magic is going to like it.
So this female, I might just open. She's gorgeous, and she's only a month and a half old.
So these are the tubs we keep things in here over in the UK. I have everything in these size tubs.
Yeah, I got these little ones for my juveniles. When the babies go to, I put them in this because it's a little bit larger.
It's like a mansion for a baby.
Yeah.
You're treating them well.
So I grabbed them all just because it's easier to show them in these. But she's getting pretty big, and she is just gorgeous.
Love.
She's got these random spots.
Stunning.
And she's super giant. I'm hoping that she'll put some out.
Stunning. Do you have a Super Snow Black Knight Cross too, don't you?
Yeah. No, she's not super giant though. She's
she's just a Black Knight Cross Super Snow.
Yeah. And I mean that's one of the coolest geckos because I'm a snow person. I love super snows, and her being the color she is like it's perfect for me. I love that thing, and I'm not a big fan of Eclipse. Oh, that's pretty.
White and yellow gem snow with a paradox on the head.
That's nice. No, I think and again, like I say an unpopular thing. I don't like the I like gecko eyes. Gecko eyes are the coolest shit ever. When you get that good close up of that eye, and I like super snows where they are dotted from the tips of their toes, from the front of their face. You know, I shared a meme the other day, and I probably hurt some people's feelings that are working really hard on doing the pied stuff. Hey, if you love pied, you love pied. Don't listen to me. Don't care what I personally, though, there's gotten to a point where if you're a blazing blizzard lover and breeder, you're looking at that like, oh, what the fuck? Like, it's not completely white. Like, it's close, but it's not complete. Like, it's, you know, I personally like non-eclipse.
Yeah. Clips can wash out, like when you have, especially when you add tangerine, it can wash out. Me personally, when I like an eclipse, I like just an eclipse. It's just an eclipse, nothing else in it, just an eclipse. So Kevin's trying to start a bit of beef, Trey. He said, so I missed the beginning. Did you all fight over the Bell SG yet? There's nothing. There's nothing to fight. The only reason I personally haven't worked with it is one, there's none here. I did message Calico. I think its name's Calico. The page Darren. He basically said, I can't get them to you right now. I don't know the ins and outs of the Bell Supergiant. Not enough to really comment on it. The only sort of comment I made to Trey, I think it got worded the wrong way. My argument is I believe obviously Giant came from Moose, and Moose being a Tremper, so at some point a Tremper had to be crossed to a Bell, which ain't a problem. It obviously got bred out, the Tremper got bred right out, making a Bell Supergiant. I haven't worked with Bell Supergiants. I will work with Bell Supergiants, but that's all I can say really. Anything you could add to that, Trey? I don't know what else to say.
No, you can go to hell for making that comment. No, it's you know, like I said, from anybody else trying to do it, I mean, Darren and Kevin knows Darren, I guess. He knew Calico. I don't know what his opinions are. I just know from me talking to him and from me going to him and seeing the massive amount that he has, that he breeds on a constant basis, that I can trust in. And from what I have a supergiant male that I have zero doubt is supergiant. I have zero doubt that he is not going to continue to keep growing because I see it, you know, even through breeding, 10 grams every month, every month, every month. And he continuously puts out big ones like that. So, you know, I personally,
yeah, I think it's definitely a thing. It's like you can Supergiant did come from Tremp, but you can go on Steve Sky's website. You could buy a normal with no albino at all. Anything can be bred out. It'll be interesting if I do get Supergiant bells to compare the two into size. Are bells are they a little bit smaller than Trempers? I don't know. I haven't worked with them at all, but it would be really interesting. It'd be nice to keep in contact a little bit more with you, Trey, regarding the bell you got, to see like, oh, he's this length at this size at this age, just so we can keep notes down and keep track. I definitely think Supergiant bell is a thing. It's just I know it came from Tremper, therefore it had to be crossed out. Like loads of things. Like I was saying about maybe making a bell red diamond. Sorry, you know, I'm gonna have to pair a bell to the red diamond, and all the babies for the next 5, 6, maybe even 7 years, I'll have to sell off as a test project sort of thing. So yeah, no, I definitely agree. I've seen some of, like I was saying to you earlier, pearly geckos. I think her name's Justine. She's huge in Supergiants, and she's always shouting down from the rooftop saying stuff's amazing. And I know she's the sort of person that wouldn't say it's good if it isn't. So I don't know. I would love to work. I will work with them eventually when Trey sends some over.
Yeah,
Oh, we're just both reading it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she and a part of the Supergiant page. She is a big supporter for him. She'll say you know, when somebody asks for a breeder of Supergiants, that's the first name she says, and that's originally why I talked to him in the first place. And I know he produces. It's got to be upwards of 2. I mean, he sold 20 the other day to one person.
Yeah.
Like he produces them, and it's, you know, he's a nice guy. I don't know why he took a liking to me and allows me to. Like, he hasn't sold any of those snows and super snow eclipses, except for to me. And I did what you said. Like, I went and bought 2 Trempers. I think they're going to be huge, and we'll see. You know, it'd
be interesting. I don't think it's been worked with enough. I mean, I know Dave over here has got. It's not no way affiliated with Giant. It's called his Colossal line, and Colossal is a really big gecko, not affiliated with Giant at all. And I think he's around about 11 to 12 inches long. So maybe is it something along those lines? Maybe he's done. I'm not too sure. It'd be nice to find out more information, and it'd be awesome to see more Supergiant bells.
Yeah, I mean, it really though. Fuck it, like, enjoy your really giant gecko. Like, it's not, you know, tell people this is what it is. This is what it is. If you buy it, if you don't buy it, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I enjoy it. I love that. Odin is like, again, when I
like
hold
your
him,
son of a gecko.
Yes, like, I mean, he is like, and he could care less. He hates me. Like, he's never bitten me. He's never been a dick. But he's like, man, please let me down. But I hold him, and yeah, and I've seen everything you're saying, Ollie. I'm not missing. I just keep not going back. But he's massive, and I see his growth, and I see the way he's built, and I see like his muscle structure and bone structure. There's no doubt in my mind he's not. And I'll see with his babies. We'll see. That baby that I had today, I didn't want to like, you know, I didn't bring him out because I don't want to. So I'll show him more in a couple of days and let him relax. I didn't want to stress him out too much because I've, knock on wood, I've not had an issue with any babies being born yet. And I know that's coming. I know that's like something that all breeders have to deal with at some point. I don't want to have to do it. I've had a lot of heartbreak this year when it comes to just eggs.
Yeah.
I haven't had a good so like you said, I've got one Supergiant female, and every egg she's laid has been fertile, but the egg itself has been just like something
It's like
like
a fertile egg with that red bullseye. Yeah.
yeah.
I've
And it's been like she busted it like immediately when it came out. It just busted and fell apart, or it like was just it's almost like the egg was just not enough. And she was in, and I don't know, she was overweight when I got her. She was like chunky, like for breeding. And I don't subscribe to getting them super over fat. I think healthy, because like if you think about them in the wild, they're going to be healthy-ish. Make sure they're healthy, but I don't know. And again, everything I say is just from what I've experienced so far.
Yeah.
Now the other supergiant female, when I put them together, I think he was still kind of young, so it didn't take. So she started laying beautiful eggs, but they just weren't fertile. And I would incubate them, and they just weren't fertile. And that was like the first 4. Then I repaired, and it really took. So every egg she's laid since has been great. But so I've had a lot of woes when it comes to that, and I've had like my favorite, my lavender snow female. She started ovulating like 2 months ago, but just no matter what, she would not let a male get next to her. And then finally she has, and she's laid 1 fertile egg. She's about to lay again, but I don't know how many I'll get. And so I've had woes with that. So I'm not looking forward to having a baby have an issue. So I am very careful when it comes to dealing with them. Everything is sanitized. My hands are clean. I don't mess with them unless I have to. So that's why you just won't see them today.
Yeah. Safe than sorry, mate. Safe than sorry, 100%.
When it comes to, like I said earlier, the Sunfire line, I know I saw your question earlier, Trey, what European lines would I want to breed? You know, Jay is the reason why I'm even messing with Black Knights, of course. The Sunfires I love, especially the Bell Sunfires that I have. I think they're just phenomenal. I love what is a copper tremper, but is not here because we don't have technically the line. But you know, there's y'all, especially there's that exclusive Geckos page on Facebook, and I'm just seeing the stuff that they're doing in Europe, and it's like,
yeah.
And then the German, I don't know their first name, the Super Giants. He was on here earlier and said something. I mean, his Super Giants are amazing, and if he would sell one, I haven't talked to him. I hear he doesn't import or export, but
Stefan, Stefan's an awesome person.
So Steph, if you want me to stop talking about how great bells are, sell me one. I'll take a tripper from you, and we'll see how they hold up. I'm hoping Odin holds true, and in a year from now he's even larger. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. I think Kevin's talking to you, Trey. Said, "Are you going to be at Daytona?" I think he's talking to you.
That's not that far from me. I think that's 6-7 hours. I'm not sure when it is. I'm going to be in France, in Elben, France, the end of August for a week. But I'm not sure exactly when it's. I know Calico's going to be there, the international show. I was thinking about it. It just depends on when it is, and I'm definitely not selling anything. I'm not, and I'm scared to go to something like that because I'll spend more money. But
shows are quite nerve-wracking. I remember doing my first show over here. Like when I first got my table, I remember getting, because I'm a bit anxious as a person. A lot of the time, a lot of people think I'm bubbly, but I think that's my front. That's how I deal with my anxiety. I come across very jokey, messing around. Like even doing this, it's nerve-wracking. It's live. If I say something wrong, everyone's going to hold me to it, and it's quite worrying. But with shows, I remember getting my first table in 2019. I remember thinking, I hope everyone don't come up to me and start asking about genetics because I'm going to get held to it, sort of thing. But obviously, you have been to shows, ain't you, Trey? I'm pretty sure you said you've been to shows, yeah.
I've been, again, luckily for me, and that's why I like living here. We didn't shut down as bad for COVID as everybody else. So there's been shows going on. There's, I did get vaccinated, but I've been to 2 Repticons, and I guess, the ones I went to, they weren't really in the biggest cities. So it's kind of, the first time you go, you don't know what to expect. And then you're rushed into things, and it's nerve-wracking for everybody. And I couldn't imagine selling, because you got 30 people asking you questions, and then they walk away and they go to the next guy. So
Yeah.
I can only imagine, but it.
I think Izzy put a comment the other day, not other day, sorry, earlier in it, saying she caught COVID from a reptile show. I mean, over here in the UK, I don't know whether it's because of, I know you guys have had that transition from Trump to Biden, and I know Trump was very anti-COVID. But the problem we got here in the UK is, one, we're all on each other's feet, and we have literally 2 shows. We have one in a place called Doncaster, and we have one down in the south. And these shows get busy. I mean, Izzy said something about I think it was like just under 1,000 people in Doncaster, 2, 3, maybe even 4,000 people, and it's a small space. And we've been hit with Brexit, so it's easier for me to ship a gecko to the USA than it is to ship it to France. It's just little tiny bit of water. It's just Brexit and everything. Well, we have to. So if anyone in the USA is watching, I can get geckos to you, but it might cost a little bit more because of I've got to pay a courier from me to the docks, then the docks to Canada, and in Canada to USA.
So you know how I know we've made it and we've come up. Miss Puppy Dog just got on. And
Miss Puppy Dog.
That person I have tried to impress my entire life.
So, it's Poppy Dog. I thought you guys say puppy, as in a puppy.
No.
Miss Puppy Dog. It's actually Poppy. Oh, sorry, Poppy. I ain't got Pablo here today. Pablo is looking for a girlfriend.
Yeah. No. And back to the blue amber eye, Kevin. I almost I was looking at that and I didn't know that you did anything with it. And I was asking people. I asked Jay. I asked G. I was like, is it worth me taking the time to work? Do you think? And they was like, ask Kevin. I was like, well, shit. I don't want to work with super giants and blue amber eyes and try to piss Kevin off every inch of that.
Honestly, from what I know, because when I done the live with Kevin, I was fangirling massively. I've been following Kevin probably since I started Instagram. I think his mentality is great. He's quite a humble guy. And what he does, even his normal het bays are stunning. So honestly, Trey, I think you would have no problem speaking to Kevin at all.
Yeah, I've talked to Kevin a couple of times, and he's been a really nice guy every time I talk to him. And that's why when the person that I showed you the other day sent me that message, he kept saying Kevin's name, and I was kind of like, man, I hope Kevin doesn't think I'm doing something that's not
Yeah.
I don't. I was kind of more upset about that, but because I was looking up because I had followed Kevin long before we had ever talked.
Yeah.
It's
really hard because of you put everything into your animals, and they're your pets too. And sometimes it comes across someone slagging off something you've got.
Oh, it's like a slap.
What do you mean? It's like I had somebody message me and said, "Is your red diamond actually red diamond?" I was like, "I can assure you, it is a red diamond because of both parents are from the person who created the red diamond." But I just sometimes things are better off left unsaid. And that's just my mental. That's just my mental.
If you're planning on buying it, ask these questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're just doing to correct somebody, I mean, even if yes, it depends on if you know the person. Like if I know you and you say, "Hey Trey, I see you do this," maybe that's not oh yeah, maybe I'm not the perfect person at this at all. But it's like if you're a random person, you don't know that person. It was yeah. No, I'll talk to you later about it, Kevin. It's not a big something but this is especially when you got the people that aren't in it for the money and they're in it for the pride of what they're doing. You can really slap somebody in the face when you say stuff like that. It's especially when I want to be. I want people to say, "Oh yeah, Trey, he does good stuff." I don't want ever somebody to go, "Oh no, I don't trust that guy," or "Oh no, he's rubbish," to put it in your words. But it's
horrible. I know what you mean. I had a fallout with somebody recently, and And, you know, I had a customer message a friend of mine and say, hi, I'm a fan of EliteGecko. I really want to message him for his geckos, but I spoke to this person and this person says he's not really approachable. And he screenshotted it, sent it to me, and I was like, make your own judgment. You know what I'm trying to say. It's just, I always say to people, don't ever be scared to message somebody. But at the same time, it's like over here, you get a lot of people go, why is that top breeder? You got to remember as well, a lot of breeders, a lot of people have been doing it for a long, long time. 10 plus years, they get an awful lot of messages every day. And sometimes it comes to the point where they're like, I don't need this today.
Yeah, no, and what I will say about you is, you know, hey, you have your opinion. You know what you think, and you say it. And as far as approachable, like, I'll get excited and I'll send you a picture, and you'll send me, you're painting a fucking wall, and you're like, so to say you're not approachable or not responded, I mean, you might not be everybody's cup of tea.
Sometimes I find people take someone being nice as something like wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're too nice, people are like, ooh, why is he being nice? Do you know what I mean? So I am a humble person. I can talk to anybody. I don't ever have any vendettas. If I do fall out with somebody, generally, like, we got Magic in this group chat. I fell out of Magic last year, and it was actually not last week. It was last week. I said, you know what? I messaged him. I said, look, man, really sorry that disagreement we had last year, and now we've said, you know what, it's that took a man to do that. Let's build some bridges, and now we speak every day. Magic isn't approachable though. He's Polish. He eats carp.
Don't tell him he's cute.
I've got a vendetta for all of you. Apparently, Jay does.
Well, I'll show one more gecko, and then I think my wife and kids are trying to get me to leave. So I've got the last super giant shrimper.
Well, this is the last gecko we're showing before we end this. So I ain't got any buttons like Gino, unfortunately. There you go.
We've been 2 hours and 10 minutes. That's a good.
I said to my girlfriend, I'd only be an hour.
She's like I said, she's newer, so she's a little. She's still young. She's only 2 months old. 20. Oh. It's not a real live. She's 2 months old, 24 grams.
Nice.
Shrimper, high contrast.
Nice colour. Magic likes high contrast. Great gene. It's a really good colour enhancer. Nice.
Great face. Great head stamp. I love the face. Looks like she has a little afro.
Stunning. Oh yeah, it looks like I don't know whether your kid plays Minecraft, but it looks like a creeper almost.
Yeah, she's like I said, I've been trying to get, when I get a female, to get a bigger one, and when it comes to females, because I want to test this more. Like, do I see a difference with the female being really big? Are the babies bigger, or do they still grow the same? And so at 24 grams, barely 2 months, I think she's going to keep putting size on.
Stunning, mate. Absolutely stunning. I think you're doing a great job, and I think you should be a bit of an inspiration for people that are starting to prove that, you know, you can come into the hobby in 6 months and hatch amazing geckos. Absolutely. But anyway, I think we should end it here. But do you want to shout yourself out? You got any available geckos? Where can people hit you up?
Yeah, Palmetto State Geckos. That's how it's on the website, Instagram. On my website, you can see a picture of every breeder that I have. Every gecko that's going to be bred is on there with a description. I name every one of them. They're like a pet. I try to keep them as happy as possible. I know I put a lot of work into it. You know, Darren at Calico, Jeff Galewood at JMG, Gino, Jay, yourself, Lily Rose Reptiles, KLG, Charlene, everybody that's just been super nice and answering questions and talking to me. You know,
I appreciate
I can't
that.
do it without help. You know, none of us can do it without help. If you're a new person on here and you've got a question of what I've dealt with and I'll talk to anybody. I mean, there's a kid from an hour that talks to me on a daily basis that has one gecko, and that's all he wants to talk about. But hey, you know, I don't care.
Yeah.
let's talk about it.
We love it because we can't. My girlfriend, she appreciates it. If I show her a lovely looking gecko, she appreciates it. But if I sit there and talk genetics and what I'm going to pair it to, she ain't got a clue. So it's really nice. It's like when you messaged me after I've done the Lunar Live. I was like, great. I remember messaging Jay going, Pal Matto just messaged me saying, thank you for doing the live, and it brings you joy. It brings you joy. And I've made another friend, and we will definitely be doing this again. I'm pretty sure this time next year you'll be blowing me out the ball court with the Super Giants.
No, it's, you know, hopefully we can do some stuff. Hopefully when I go out to France, I'm gonna try to make my way over to y'all's neck of the woods at some point during that week. So
definitely, mate. If you ever step foot in the UK, we'll go and get a bite to eat, and for sure, mate. Yeah. Even if you come and look at what we got here, I've got loads and loads of stuff. But anyway, awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, Trey. I'll be putting your information, your website in the description, so anybody in the USA, even the UK, give Trey a shout, and we might be able to sort something. But thank you everybody for tuning in to another Morphtastic, and thanks again, Trey, my big old Mr. Incredible.
Yeah, man.
See you later.
See you.